Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football YouTube channel. Welcome back to a happy Arsenal camp. Oh, it is good to be happy again. It was a tough couple of days. Shout out to the people that stuck with us in the depths of Thursday and Friday, but we're back. We are back. Loads to talk about today. Obviously, we're going to talk about yesterday. We're going to talk about what's coming up with the Chelsea game, bits of injury news. Honestly, though, haven't planned out the stream at all. Literally just got back from the podcast. The podcast, for those of you that listen, the back post, it's an enjoyable one today. It is an enjoyable one today. Welcome Vivi, Vlad, Shayan, like Ian, Likely Fraud, Reese, Oslo, Guna, Napa Fire, Woodsy, Pekka, Leeds Gunner, Croat Gunner. Good to see you. Loads of people in here. Loads of people in here. You'll love to see it. That was as loud. That was a loud intro. Is your mic on a new setting? Oh, I hope not. I hope not. Has it calmed down now? Has it calmed down? I think it's when sometimes if I've literally just turned everything on, it's like it hasn't adjusted the mic volume, so it goes really loud. But there you go. Apologies if that was a really loud intro for you. Before we get anywhere else, please do make sure to subscribe. We have now hit 37,000 subscribers, so we are on the way to 38,000 subscribers. If you could like the stream as well. Those of you that are here right now, there's 100 of you here, right now. Please do make sure to hit the like button. It does massively help. Ad again, ole ole. Apologies for the ads. I do apologize for the ads. Is it time to cash in on White and Calafiori in the summer? With the constant giggles they get. I mean, I don't know how much they're giggling about the situation, but no, the constant... I would... It's an interesting conversation to have. It's an interesting conversation to have. Calafiori, no, not for me. For the first half of the season, Calafiori was one of our best players, right? And he's young still. Ben White, of course, is older. And is struggling, so maybe, but we'll see. I haven't given up on Calafiori, certainly not. And I haven't given up on Ben White, but it might be the sort of thing for Ben White where, you know, maybe for himself, does he even still want to be a right back? You know, the physical demands of being a right back compared to a right centre back are huge. He could probably move to I could see Ben White, and I pray to God we give him a Premier League title before it ever happens. And I'd be happy to keep Ben White at right back, but he's the sort of player I could see him at Everton or Newcastle. Or Villa. I could see him at teams like that as a right centre back, rather than as a right back. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. When is the back post coming out? It should be out at about 6 p.m. So it should be pretty much we finish this stream and then you can just roll straight into the back post podcast, which is fantastic. How is your day? My day's great. My day's great. It's days like this where I'm very, very grateful for what I do. You know, work today was going in and obviously even when I used to work in an office job, if there was a Spurs fan, I'd go and wind them up. But that was the actual work today. The actual work today was winding Seb up. It's great fun. Nid, good to see you. Did I miss you? Of course. Of course. Get up the goon room. Get up the goon room. Hincapié has improved so much. So happy for him. Honestly, the competition we have at left back right now is unbelievable, you know, because Calafiori, like I said, he was one of our best players in the first half of the season. And really, he was one of, if not the best left back in the league in the first half of the season. But Hincapié is growing into that role big time. And it's not just the defensive side of the game. You know, there was that ball he played into Saka, where Saka was one-on-one that he could have scored. So yeah, but what a good situation to be in, you know. How's Seb? He's been happier. He has been happier. The thing is, I think Seb had genuinely convinced himself that they were going to do something. I think he had really, and I don't know why, to be honest, but I think he was really quite confident that they were going to do something. And then it was just, a real crash back down to earth. So... you know, but we've all been there. Listen, I was there on Thursday. I had to go and sit there on Thursday whilst the two of them were absolutely going at it. So there's swings and roundabouts, you know. Seb getting calmer after the Wolves game. Exactly. And even Tobes. Even Tobes. Chelsea drew at home to Burnley this weekend. He kind of got off lightly because a lot of the talk was the North London Derby tour, but we've still grilled him about that because that was pretty bad too. How were your podcast mates today? Did you give them compassionate leave? Nah. We dragged them in. Someone investigate Tottenham's net. Big Vic might have ripped it. Honestly, banger PFP. It's really hard to see on my thing. I can't really see what it is, Nid. It's so small on my screen right now. I can't really see it. But yeah, honestly, when Victor Gyokeres strikes the ball, it stays struck. Like, you watch these goals from the edge of the box, the first goal yesterday, his first goal, like, it doesn't move. Like, the plane of the ball does not move. It's just an absolute laser beam. And you're looking at so many goalkeepers at the moment that are struggling to save his shots. There was a point this season, right, where if I'm honest, I was worried that a lot of those goals that he was scoring in the Portuguese league were because of the goalkeepers not being good enough. But I'm beginning to understand why. He just hits it that hard that it goes through you. And I love it. I'm loving it. The hug between Berta and Arteta and Eze, we're all vibing at the moment. For sure. Can see White going and Livramento coming in, possibly. I think Livramento is probably going to end up at City, though, unfortunately. They're absolutely awful. Honestly, could go down. I agree. Sebastian talks copium. Yeah, bless him. Bless his cotton socks. What a game for Gyokeres to arrive. Thought he was a problem for Spurs all game. Played with a different confidence. Agreed. There's been a fair bit of talk on social media about the first half because from some parts Gyokeres got a lot of heat for his first half performance, and then so it was like, but then he scored 2 goals, and the same people that gave him a load of stick were kind of obviously celebrating it. And to an extent, like, I don't think you should necessarily have a go at people that have criticised a player for then celebrating. But some of that criticism, I thought, from the first half was just so unfair. That was what annoyed me. It was like, I didn't think Gyokeres had a bad first half. There haven't been many games this season where I'm like, it feels like Gyokeres is going to score. But it did in that first half. So I thought some of that criticism was unfair. And I think a lot of it was just like default almost. Well, let's blame Gyokeres. But I thought he had a decent first half and an excellent second half. Cut out the mistakes and we will win it all. Honestly, that is the only thing that's hampering us at the moment is mistakes. You know, you look at where they came close yesterday. The goal that they score, big mistake from Declan Rice. The other 2 chances that they had, Kolo Muani's goal that was ruled out for the foul on Gabriel. Again, Gabriel makes a bit of a mistake there, really. He gets away with it because he sells the foul, but he gets caught underneath the ball. And we've seen that a couple of times with Gabriel, right? It happened against Vultemada. I saw a clip going around today previously against Leeds a few years ago where it happened against Leeds, and it was Bamford. And again, he kind of got away with that one as well, where he was nudged in the back. So that was a mistake. And the save that David Raya made off the line, again, was a Declan Rice mistake. So, you know, they were the only 3 chances that Spurs already had, and all of them were completely avoidable because they were just mistakes from us. Why was there no update on Ben White? Well, that's the thing. That's the little concern about White, I suppose, is that going in... So, obviously, Ben White played against Wigan, right? He was then an unused sub against Wolves, but he was on the bench. He travelled, he was on the bench. And then he was not on the bench yesterday, and it was confirmed that it was injury-related, not tactical. So I'm like, that must be something that's happened in training or something. And obviously we don't necessarily know how bad it is. Yeah, the only update was that it was I always feel like paranoid saying that word, but like a minor thing in his hamstring, right? And my worry about that is that we've had a few of those this season where it's been like, oh, it was just a minor thing and it'll be a few days, and then it's a few days more and a few days more and a few days more. So yeah, it is what it is, but hopefully nothing serious. I mean, we are blessed. We are blessed with the depth that we do have, and it will pay dividends. Mosquera filled in at right back yesterday. I thought, by the way, that was a really good, really brave decision by Arteta. And again, an example where I think Arteta is learning. Like, Timber was on a booking. He has looked fatigued. And Arteta thought, and I think at that point it was still only 2-1 to Arsenal. But he brought Mosquera on and he trusted Mosquera. And Mosquera paid him back because he was absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, very, very happy with that. And hopefully, you know, Arteta continues to do that in the future. And there are games where, you know, when Timber needs to rest, I'm more than happy to see Mosquera starting at right back. I really am. Tony, thank you very, very much for the £2 super chat. Congrats on 37k subscribers. Smash the likes. Chat, Tony, I really do appreciate that. Very kind of you. And yeah, thank you to all of you for 37,000 subscribers. We are flying on this channel. We are flying. Timber was gassed. Yeah, Timber was gassed. Timber was gassed. What are your thoughts on Mosquera at right back? Yeah, great. Like, really happy with Mosquera at right back. The thing is, right, I don't think Timber offers a crazy amount going forwards. Actually, I was really happy with Timber's ball into Gyokeres for the second goal because that was the brave, risky ball to play rather than just going backwards again. Like, he saw that there was a gap between the lines. Spurs literally had like a back five here and a back four here and a big gap between them. But Timber saw it and he played the right ball and he played it with conviction. And I liked that. But overall, and I think to be fair, there was a little chipped ball to the back post that he had early on in the game that Gyokeres won the header for. But he doesn't offer so much going forwards that isn't sort of a replaceable asset. And I thought Mosquera defensively just did really, really well. You know, he's so difficult to get past. He pins you in. He's unbelievably athletic. He's tall. He's much taller than Timber. So, yeah, very happy with Mosquera. When is the back post episode? The back post episode should be out at about 6, I think. They're literally just working on it now. I agree if it got to the 80th minute and we still had a sub. Sorry, I agree it got to the 80th and we still had a sub. Yeah. Was so happy Saka was dancing at the end of the game. Yeah, that is the one that we can assume. I was really worried about Saka. Like, when he went down with that injury, because it was one of them where his ankle got just twisted up underneath Xavi Simons, I think it was. And the way he reacted to it was he's kind of waving to the bench, but not in like a... Obviously, that wasn't the sort of thing where he was going to win a free kick or anything out of it. Because I think we'd given away the foul. So I was worried. But it seemed like at the end of the game... I mean, he walked off looking all right. And at the end of the game, he seemed pretty fine. So big relief on Saka. And yeah, with Ben White, we don't have a full-time scale. Ideally, he's available for Chelsea. But we're also getting to the point where, I mean, if Havertz is back for Chelsea, like, we're going to get to the stage where we're picking and choosing who can even be on the bench again, which, you know, is a luxury position to be in as well. Gabriel, thank you for 10 gifted memberships. That is unbelievable. Gabriel, thank you so much. If you have just been gifted, please do make sure to thank him in the chat. That is incredibly generous. That is unbelievable. Thank you so much. Loads of you, look at that. Look at the W's in the chat. You love to see it. And yeah, congratulations if you have just been gifted that membership. Pekka is screaming, Goon Platoon. Trayan seems to have got one as well. You love to see it. You love to see it. There you go. AG6956 got one. Gabriel, thank you very, very much. What a legend. What a legend. But no, look, in terms of, I think there were some interesting things that actually came out yesterday from in terms of what Arteta said. Obviously, he was asked about the response. He said, I think the whole team, I cannot be prouder and happier of what I've seen out there, but especially the way we lived in the last 72 hours, because I think this game in particular needed some context. After what happened against Wolves and in the manner that we lost 2 points, in the last kick of the game, it was tough. But that's the beauty of this game. There's no explanation watching the game for how the hell you draw that game from any angle. You watch it back, you say it's impossible. And you have to watch it again and say it's not going to happen, but it happened. And then you have to lift yourself up because you're feeling angry, upset, ashamed at some point. This was interesting about Ezra, right? So he spoke about Ezra. Are we ever going to get members-only content? Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do more, but then I'm caught in two worlds, right, with members only content. Because on one hand, I would love to give back to the members because the members support the channel incredibly, and it genuinely does massively, massively help. But at the same time, I never want to put content behind a paywall, really, unless it's if I'm putting content behind a paywall and it's something where to do the content, like I have to generate extra money to do it. So if I started doing like away day vlogs and stuff like that, right, that are going to cost me a lot of money, but I was going to make like really good polished content off the back of it, and I put that behind a paywall, I could justify it. But in terms of like the sort of stereotypical, Q&As and stuff like that, I don't want to make people have to pay for that sort of thing, if that makes sense. So I'm always caught in two minds as to what to do. I don't want to take stuff and be like, no, because it's rough. It's rough at the moment, and I'd rather just make the content for everyone. And then if people want to become members, I'm incredibly grateful for it, and it's incredibly generous. But yeah, it's a difficult one. I always kind of, honestly, it's something I think about quite a lot in terms of the pros and cons of it. So, but what you do get as a member are the custom emotes, the custom emojis. So, and you get a green name. So you get, and you get the little cannon, the little icons next to your name. So there is that. There is that. Really cool meeting JT. No. Yes. Oh yeah, I can finally actually tell you now. On Zach Jalab's channel, we had John Terry versus 20 football fans, which I was involved in. I went up and debated John Terry on a couple of things, and it was insanely cool. There was one of his points, like debating points, was number sixes or like defensive midfielders aren't appreciated enough. And I went up and kind of argued that football clubs now definitely appreciate defensive midfielders almost more than any other player. Like Declan Rice is our most expensive signing. We went 100 mil on Declan Rice. And then there's just a moment where like, I'm just chatting to John Terry about Declan Rice. And it's insane. Absolutely insane. So yeah, if you want to check that out, it's on Zach Jalab's channel. But and again, like these are the sorts of opportunities that I get to do, like because of this and because of you. So I'm never going to stop being grateful for that. Did Tobes go and argue against JT? No, he didn't. So Tobes went up. Obviously, Tobes is a massive Chelsea fan, massive John Terry fan. Like for him, it must have been even more insane, right? As a Chelsea fan. So Tobes was the first person to get up. Like he ran to that chair and he basically just agreed with John Terry about everything and then asked him a couple of questions. But it was like, do you know what? Give Tobes his minute to chat with John Terry. Would you take Nico Williams as our left wing option in the summer? No, I don't think so. I think there are better options now than Nico Williams. He's been struggling with pubalgia, which is a bit of a chronic condition. There's no guarantee you ever shake it off. He's also very expensive and on big wages. There are better options for me. Do you think any Arsenal players watch your videos? Not like... I would imagine that my videos have popped up for some of them. But I'd be very surprised if any of them actively seek out my videos, if that makes sense. Hey, Rory, if Havertz is back for Chelsea, what do you think our midfield three should be? Yeah, it's an interesting one. We'll talk about it probably a little bit later in the week. Obviously, we've got a whole week with no Arsenal game. So we've got plenty of time to talk about it. But I do think that is a really interesting one in terms of what you do with the midfield if Havertz is available off the back of Eza having such a good game. It is an interesting one. But yeah, back to Arteta and Eza, I suppose. So he was asked if he knows about Eza's goal-scoring prowess in the second half of the season. He said, we looked at every stat, but that one, to be very honest, no. So he wasn't aware of the fact that Eza has a far better goal-scoring record in the second half of seasons than the first half of seasons. But he said, I mean, he scored 5 goals in the last 2 games against them, which is extremely difficult to do. But I could see that he wanted to prove something. He was upset even with me because I didn't play him the other day from the beginning, and some of the decisions that I made. And I start to understand how we're going to get the best out of him now. And I think this is key. And look, at this level, obviously, Eze is going to be fuming at Arteta for not starting him in games. Arteta is going to say, well, you've had opportunities and you've not taken them. So that's why I'm not starting you. And the right people, right? The elite mentalities, they will figure that out together. And I think that is what Eze and Arteta are doing. And you saw the way that Eze and Arteta embraced and hugged at full time yesterday. Like, there is not a bad relationship between them. It's figuring it out. And from Eze's perspective, you cannot argue with the fact that there have been games, since the last North London derby and this North London derby, there have been games where he's not been at it, and he has drifted in games, and he has hidden in games or faded, and so you can understand the frustration from Arteta, but equally, Eze shows in moments like yesterday what he can do. And so you've got to find that balance. And I think we keep saying that, it's all about the balance. And I just hope that Eze can kick on. Maybe do a members app where you maybe do a members app where you struggles with getting tickets for home games if we win the title. Yeah, I could. I mean, getting Arsenal tickets is getting more and more difficult. It is getting more and more difficult. Have you ever met an Arsenal player? Not a current Arsenal player. So I've met Tony Adams. I played on the pitch at the Emirates with Tony Adams. Not last summer, but the summer before. That was an incredible experience. Gilberto Silva was also there that day. He was managing the other team. So that was insane. I was actually at a Tops event at the weekend on Saturday, which Aaron Ramsey was at. So I kind of vaguely met him then, but not really. And I think that's it. I think that is it. What do you have to say about Rooney's comments on Eze? What were those comments? I don't think I've seen Rooney's comments on Eze, to be fair. What were those comments? Cup final ticket sorted yet? Nope. No, honestly, getting cup final tickets is going to be tough. It is going to be tough. But yeah, let me know what the Rooney comments on Arteta were, on Eze were. Whilst I continue with this. So, he was asked about Bukayo Saka being back to his best. He said, I loved his attitude, his presence, how dominant he was in the game from the beginning. The first reaction immediately, he wants to grab the game, and he really wants to say, I'm here. And that's what I love. He didn't score, but he was in every action. I think he was really, really good. And that's crucial. I was very surprised with some of the criticism of Saka from that game. I thought Saka was excellent. I thought he was influential throughout the game. The first goal, I mean, how it's not been given as an assist for him, I don't really know. For me, that is an assist for him. But it's a really well worked from him down the right-hand side. There was the moment where he ran through the middle, maybe should have scored, but he did well against Van de Ven in that opportunity. Obviously, he's a key part of the third goal as well. So yeah, I thought he was great. I think he's growing into it. Let me just try and see if anyone said about the Rooney. Rooney down on Eze despite having a brace. His season's not living up to expectations. Is that what he said? Just message the sponsors. Yeah, I probably need to. They're sold out. Yeah, no, to get a ticket, I'm going to have to either you can get them for 700 quid right now on resale sites, which I really can't afford. Or, yeah, I might just have to shamelessly message Carabao or someone to try and get one. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. 320 people here, 70 likes. Horrific chat. There you go. If you're watching and you've not liked the video, the stream, Nid is calling you out personally. So please do like the stream. Rooney didn't say too much, just that Eze has been good at the North London derby, but not overall. I mean, he's not wrong. He isn't wrong. If Eze was doing this week in, week out, he'd be signing of the season. But it's not unfair to say we've not seen this from Eze in most of our games this season. So, yeah, it's difficult. But what I would say is we've also not seen that from Gyokeres, and Saka looked much better. And I do think, and this is where we have to. Basically, I think Spurs are so bad, and I think the way they set up is so bad compared to even like Wolves in terms of making it difficult for us. I need to see this again. This can't just be a one-off. And there is just a little, and I said this would happen after the Wolves game, right? The Wolves game did break a fundamental bit of trust that I had built with this squad. And so I do need to see it again against Chelsea, again against Brighton. And I hope that that's what it does. I hope this is the thing that sparks us into just seeing out the season, right? It's 10 games in the Premier League. That's all you've got to get through. And I hope we can do it. Rory, not to outdo you, but I played footy with Dennis Bergkamp at Highbury. That outdoes me. So that outdoes me. They were so bad. Gyokeres almost never gets that much space. Yeah, exactly, right? So it's one of them. You're like, have we suddenly found out how to get much more space and time for Gyokeres and Eza, or were Spurs really bad? And look, maybe it's a bit of both. I hope it's a bit of both to an extent. And I just hope this gives us the confidence. And I do think there was we won't know what happened in the changing room after that Wolves game, but there were a few things that were interesting. I don't know if Arteta mentioned it. I don't know if he mentioned it anywhere. I don't think he did, but I saw a interview with Gyokeres where he spoke about the changing room after the Wolves game, right? And Gyokeres was saying that in the changing room, he was like, we cleared the air, we let our emotions out, and we explained to each other some of our feelings. And I get the feeling that there was probably big clear the air talks after that game in terms of players getting things off their chest with other players. That was kind of what Gyokeres was saying. And maybe we needed that. Like, maybe we needed that shock of dropping points to Wolves to be like, okay, if you're Gyokeres, for example, I need this to change. I need you to start doing more for me because you're not. So yeah, obviously you'll never find out what happened in that dressing room, but hopefully it's worked. Do you think we're moving past Odegaard as a team? We're not moving past Odegaard as a team, but I do think we're moving past Odegaard being a crucial part of the team. I don't like, realistically, our best games this season, some of them have come with Eza in the 10, both of the North London derbies. They've come with Havertz in the 10. I don't look at the Arsenal squad now and think Martin Odegaard is one of the first names on the team sheet and we will continue to play around him. I still think he has a big part to play in this squad, undoubtedly. Even when he came on yesterday, he was doing all of the running, the pressing, the control of the game. So, yeah, I still think he's got plenty to offer. I just don't think he's one of the sort of crucial elements of this team anymore. As the biggest Odegaard stan, he should leave in the summer, hopefully as a Prem winning captain. I don't think he necessarily needs to leave in the summer. And I think a lot of those values that he has as a leader and as a captain, which some people think he's the wrong type of leader, but all of the players have spoken about it. Academy players always speak about it. Like, he'll continue to be a very good person to have in the dressing room, I think. Odegaard brings control and tempo. We've seen flashes of 23-24 Odegaard in 2 games where he was doing amazing final balls and shots from outside the box. He's like a 6 that plays as an 8 and is judged as a 10. Yeah, and I think that's difficult for him at times. And I do think he's had a really difficult couple of seasons, to be honest with you, with the injuries and just the lack of consistency. And I think it's good to have all of those different options as well. I do. I saw an interview with Declan Rice too, where he said after the Wolves game, they had a frank discussion. Yeah, exactly. And look, it probably was pretty, it probably was pretty fractious in the changing room after that. But I want it to be. I would want that changing room after the Wolves game to be people losing their heads at each other, to be honest. Because that shows that they're invested. That shows how much they want it. And the fact that we then came out the way that we did against Spurs, and I think a big thing for me was the way we reacted to their goal. We had just scored. We had that big moment of celebration. And because of the way we had dominated the game, it definitely felt like we'd kind of, we'd got a hold of it. And when we scored the goal, it felt like it was like, okay, this is us now. Like, this is our game now. We're 1-0 up. We'll see it out. To then immediately concede, again, just like it did against United, that could have thrown us, but it didn't. So I was happy with that. People obsess about the captaincy. I'm not sure I could even tell who the captains are of the top 10 teams in the world. Yeah, I think like an individual captain has become less of a thing these days anyway. Most teams now have leadership groups where one person may wear the armband, but who was Saka captain yesterday? I assume Saka wore the armband yesterday, right? Or was it Gabriel? I mean, that's the thing. I don't even know. I think it was Saka. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You hit 37K. Let's go. I did indeed, Baxter. I appreciate that. Do you have a season ticket or do you get a ticket on the ballot for every game? It was Saka. I get a ticket off the exchange for most games. So I enter every ballot. I've been successful for, I think, 4 ballots this season, including like the cup games where most of the time you win. And then I largely have to use the ticket exchange, or I'm very sort of fortunate now with having a bit of a platform. I can like tweet out that I need a ticket or put on my Instagram story that I need the ticket. And there are people that will help me out, like people that have got a spare or they know a mate that can't go and stuff like that. So, but yeah, normally I have to kind of find a way of getting a ticket. I do think this summer and next summer we will see some players being willingly sold if the money is right. Odegaard, White, Martinelli, Jesus, Trossard, maybe even some of the youngsters like MLS. I agree. We will reach a point like this summer. If we want to buy, we have to sell. We can't you look going into next season, you would imagine Max Dowman will continue to become more prominent within the squad. You've got Waneri coming back from loan. We've already got too many players to field in a matchday squad. So if we want to sign anyone this summer, you're going to have to make sales. And we are at the point with the depth of the squad where pretty much any player that gets sold now is going to be a decent enough player or a player that's been at the club for a long time. But that's the situation you want to be in, rather than trying to flog deadwood that you can't get out the door quick enough and that no one wants to buy. Would you sell Mosquera for 80 million? Yeah, probably. 80 million. Don't get me wrong. I think Mosquera is absolutely fantastic. But there's never a guarantee for someone that's 21 years old. And 80 million quid to reinvest, that's a lot of money for someone that's made, 15 appearances as a 21-year-old for Arsenal. Especially when you look at how young William Saliba still is. Pretty sure the leadership group's Odegaard, Saka, Gabby, Marino, Jesus. I think Rice has got to be in there, right? Is Rice not in the leadership group yet? I felt like he probably was. New players need to be ceiling raisers. Yeah. I mean, largely you need a bit of both. But I think mainly a left-hand side ceiling raiser is the big one for me this summer. I think a left winger that raises the level rather than adds to the depth is probably the big one for me this summer. And Salmon's coming through. Yeah, exactly. Salmon's coming through as well. You know the second yellow in the Palace game? I'm pretty sure that's the first one since Trossard. Yeah, it's the first time someone's been sent off for it. The whole kicking the ball away yellow card thing's farcical. I don't think they have any idea what, like, it's just random. It literally is just like referees randomly apply that law when they fancy it. I remember when we signed Guendouzi, there was talk of him going to PSG for 50 million, and we all said no, that was a mistake. So if the fee is crazy, we sell. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What do you think the chances are that we sign a big left winger next summer? I don't think it's out of the equation at all. I don't think it's out of the equation. And I would hope that it is Kenan Yildiz. That is the dream. D Sims, thank you very, very much for the $4.99 super chat. You said the captain thing. I think it's more so the fact that our captain looks like a passenger in games or being subbed when we need to go. Love your content. I appreciate that very much, D Sims. Thank you. And I don't disagree. The first time where I started entertaining the, we need to strip Odegaard of the captaincy thing. And listen, I don't think you strip him of it this season. I don't think it would help in any way, shape, or form to take the captaincy off in this season, right? It's drama that you don't need in a title race in the running. You don't need the drama of it. If he continues to be a lesser part of the team for the rest of the season, right? I do think you then have to start questioning whether or not he should be the captain. Because I do think, generally speaking, your captain, your go-to captain, should be on the pitch for the vast majority of the time. Because you need that guy that your teammates look to. So, yeah, I agree pretty much with what you're saying there. Can't be captain and not starting games. Yeah, I don't disagree. A very hot, ridiculous take. Some years later, you will see a better centre-back with Saliba. We can do better than Gabriel. I swear it will happen. Maybe. It could happen. No one thought that Gabriel would reach the level that he reached. So, it could happen. Watching the outrage over the Gabby Rishi banter, so stupid and irrational. It's not even fun anymore engaging other fans. You can't. What do you think of the Antonio Nusa links? I don't think that'll happen. It doesn't make sense to me. It's not a level raiser. He's injury prone. I just don't really get it. How did you forget about Shamak? I know, criminal. But no, I agree. It's very, very difficult to engage with rival fans at the moment. The level of hate watching of Arsenal, it's almost like they hate us more than we support Arsenal. Some of the stuff that the people are coming out with, it's insane. It's genuinely insane. And it's I get it. You don't want Arsenal to win, but you're actively hate watching us so badly that you're being more biased than Arsenal fans are. It's madness. Excuse me. Excuse me. I think we're done. Diamande at Leipzig would be better than Nusa. Yeah? Jan Diamande is this one that I just still haven't seen much of. People keep... I think it's maybe because I've just not seen any of him in the Champions League. But people keep talking about him, and I'm like, I have seen 2 clips, and I don't know if he's good or not. But he is being spoken about a lot. So, you assume that he's decent. You do assume that he's decent. Thank you very much, Nid. Thank you very much. I've decided I will only watch Arsenal games and not entertain anything else now. No point. Fair enough. How does City not get punished for their terrible out-of-possession structure? I mean, they do to an extent. I think Leeds away is going to be a difficult game for them. I really do. I'm hoping Leeds away can deliver us something next weekend. But all we've got to do is beat Chelsea. If we beat Chelsea, I think we come out the other side. And after that game, I think our run-in overall is a little bit easier than theirs. I know that they've got who have they got? They've got West Ham. Wait, I might as well bring it up so that you can see it whilst I'm talking about it. So they've got Leeds away, which I think is tough. Under the lights, Elland Road. They've then got Forest at home, which, don't get me wrong, they're going to beat Forest at home. But under Vitor Pereira, I think that's a more difficult game now than it was under Sean Dyche. Like, I know they lost to Liverpool, but they went away to Turkey in midweek and actually played well and beat Fenerbahce 3-0. It's not the easiest game, that one. They've then got West Ham away in a lunchtime kickoff, which, again, you're expecting them to beat West Ham. But West Ham are looking a little bit better now than they were before. Palace at home, they should win. But this is where it gets juicy. This is where it gets juicy. Chelsea away, followed by a Champions League game, followed by us at home. Burnley away, fine, easy. Everton away, difficult. Brentford, the way Brentford play, not an easy game. Bournemouth away, difficult. And Villa at home on the final day, where Villa could very feasibly be fighting for a Champions League spot. So, yeah, I think after the Chelsea game, we've got a better run. So if we can come out of that Chelsea game with a win, knowing that, you know, City still have to go away to Chelsea, for example, I think it could be really good for us. We might drop points at Brighton away. I think Brighton are crap. So I hope not. Rory, I saw Yildiz in the Juve retro kit. Immediate effect. Fop mod bars got greener. Yeah, Yildiz is the one for me. Personally, I like how Arteta holds the players to a vote for captain, so it's never going to be, oh, Oda's got stripped of the armband. Yeah, that's true. It does make it easier for him. He could just say, well, the players voted for someone else. Should Silva have been sent off? Bernardo Silva should have been sent off, yeah. Blatant second yellow. We could potentially win the League Cup. They lose at CFC, and we beat them again in the league. This is our time. It has to be. It has to be. Them getting top 8 in the UCL was really annoying. They don't deal with the fixture congestion very well. It was. And all we needed was bloody Real Madrid to beat Benfica, to draw against Benfica. All we needed was Real Madrid to draw against Benfica. And City would have finished 9th. That is annoying. Ollie, thank you very, very much for becoming a new member of the channel. That is absolutely sensational support, Ollie. I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the Rory Talks Football membership club. Enjoy your emotes and emojis. What are they called, emotes or emojis? I think they're called emojis. Don't really know. But Ollie, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Look at that. Cheyenne's absolutely buzzing. Member call-in show once a week. Maybe. That is something that could work better, but yeah, I don't know. I'll think about it. I think about it. I hate Bernardo Silva so much. Yeah, me too. Right, I'm gonna level with you as well. Today, I didn't plan anything, which means there is no quiz questions. So we're doing Generation Football. We are doing today's Generation Football. Let me bring it up. You enjoyed this last time. Obviously, I don't want to do it every day, but you enjoyed the Generation Football last time. So we're going to do it again today. Here we go. Wow. Today's daily question is this. Serie A combined appearances and goals for European Roma players. My goodness me. So, Europeans that have played for Roma, Serie A combined appearances and goals. Okay. Where should we start with that one? Anyone got a good starting point for that? Edin Dzeko. Dzeko played for Roma, didn't he? Dzeko. 284. Okay, that was way too much. I guess it's appearances and goals. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. Can you explain that like I'm 5? So basically, it's darts. So we start at 501. We have to get down to 0. You can't score more than 180 because you can't do that in darts. So that's a bust. And obviously, you have to do it with these things. A couple of people have said Cassano. 157. Cassano is an excellent shout. Mr. and Ross Lawman both went with Cassano. That's an excellent shout. That is an excellent shout. So obviously you can go like attackers who will have scored lots of goals, or you can just go for like defenders who have more appearances but not as many goals. Right, I've seen a couple of people say Dybala. We've had a couple of shouts for Dybala. None. Tammy Abraham. Oh no, El Shaarawy. Did El Shaarawy not play for them for too long? 300, yeah, way too much. We're stinking up the gaff here, by the way. Right, I've got to lock in. Oh yeah, Dybala is our. Yeah, I forgot they got to be European. That's my bad. That's my bad. I need to fact check you. Tammy Abraham. Abraham won't be too high. Tammy Abraham, 110. Not too bad. What about... Raja Nainggolan? Didn't he play... How much did he play there? How much did he play there? We started with Dzeko. Smalling I quite like. How long was Smalling there? Smalling I like. Yeah, 122. Okay, so now we have to check out. So to check out, we have to score between... We have to get down to between 0 and -10. So we need to score between 112 and 122. That is what we now have to do. That is now what we have to do. I've seen a lot of people saying Sula. A lot of people saying Sula. It can't be Dybala. He's not European. They have to be European. Sula is Argentinian. Doumbia. How long was Doumbia there? Ashley Cole. Nah, Ashley Cole wouldn't have been enough. Cole wouldn't have been enough, would it? He did what, like 2 seasons max? Oh yeah, Dumbia's African. I need to drill into my head. Europeans. Dovbyk. Dovbyk could be a shout. Dovbyk. I like it. 60. We need between 52 and 62. 52 and 62. Is there anyone that's gone there more recently? Lukaku? Yeah, Lukaku's a shout, actually. Romelu Lukaku. Oh, no. Oh, no. We're 7 away. We need between 7 and 17. That needs to be someone that's either done like a loan spell or just not really played much for them. Bailey. How much did Bailey play? Oh, no. When did Bailey go? Was it the start of this season or did he go last year? Marlon was... Marlon? How many games has Marlon played? Oh, yeah. Bailey's not European. Bailey's not European. Evan Ferguson. Simicast. Yeah, there's actually shouts here. Right, let's be logical. Simicast has done... He's been there over half a season. I think Marlon might be the shout. How many goals has he got? I feel like he's definitely got 2 goals. I'm going to go Marlon. Way! We did it. He got 10. We're down to -3. Honestly, that was a bad day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guesses. That was bad. I hold my hands up on the Dybala one. That was bad. But look, anyway, that is going to be the end of the stream. I massively appreciate all of you for watching. As always, we'll be back tomorrow with another stream. Please do like, subscribe, all of that good stuff before you jump off. And other than that, have a very good Monday evening. I will catch you all tomorrow. Until then, goodbye. Doo-doo.